Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control on Rosemont Avenue bringing you some adoptable pets. Our first guest is Quarter, and Quarter is a Bichon mix. He came from a pet store, and the family that relinquished him to us said that their daughter bought him at a pet store and they were told he was a Bichon and Pekingese, I think. And he's not used to walking on a leash, as you can see. And they have a work schedule and another dog, and so they weren't able to keep him. He is only 7 months old, and as we do with all puppies, we take 4 applications and then find the best match. So what we would be looking for Quarter is somebody who has had a long-haired dog before, has had a puppy before, or who has a schedule that will allow that to be pretty easy to manage. One of the things about having a long-haired dog is, contrary to what people instinctively think, they shed less, but it means you have to brush them or take them to a groomer or learn to groom yourself, which is not very hard. I've done it. And certainly the first time you groom your dog, you're going to be surprised at how difficult it is. But then the second time is better, and then the third time actually looks pretty professional, and then you can do it yourself. That also depends on the temperament of your dog and how you get them used to it. You certainly wouldn't sit down with him for 45 minutes to cut his hair the first time. What you would want to do is learn to cut his nails and trim around his face and give him a lot of rewards and comforting reinforcement for that, and then gradually build up to doing the whole thing. It's a lot to ask of a puppy to do in one sitting. Obviously, Quarter has done it before, because had he never been groomed, his hair would be quite long by now. So he has definitely been groomed before and probably did very well. He's pretty sweet. And as a young puppy, you can see he's kind of mellow. I mean, he's playful, but he's not trying to jump up in the chairs. He's not barking. So he's a pretty nice little puppy, and we're pretty sure that we can find him a good home, and maybe it'll be yours. This is Gambit, and Gambit is a baby pit bull mix. And one of the things that, in addition to doing for puppies, where we take 4 applications and then find the best match, another thing that we do for puppies this young is we place them in a foster home before they come here to the kennel. And that is because there's a certain period in a puppy's development between 6 and 9 weeks old where if some traumatic, horrible thing happens to them, they might be shy forever. So we put them in a foster home so that they can be running around the kitchen, as he has done, grabbing up spilled food, in a house with other dogs, with cats, with doors opening and closing. And then once they get past what's called the fear period, and it's also their attachment period when they learn to love people. So we want them to be with people during that time. Then we can bring them back to the shelter. And the thing that Gambit has going for him is that he's here with 2 litter mates. So it's great to keep them together until they get adopted. He has already been neutered, and sometimes that surprises people because they say, oh my gosh, he's not even old enough to have a rabies shot and he's already neutered. Well, what we have found over the past 20 years is that there are some differences in dogs that are neutered this young than in dogs that are not. And one of the differences is they get a little taller. I know that's the opposite of what you would think, but they are a little more rangy if they're neutered very young. But there's been a lot of research done to show that the differences are not significant in making the quality of a pet. So we would prefer to do it before they leave here so that we don't have the risk of unwanted puppies, and you won't have any of the behavior problems that are commonly associated with an intact dog, like fighting with other intact dogs, or crazily working at digging out of the yard so that he can pursue activities with other dogs. So another reason that I wanted to show you Gambit is not only is he so cute and precious, But this is the reason that most people get a dog, is you see this and you know that you're going to spend hours, days, even weeks, just like Randy is now, with a warm puppy, lovable, wonderful experience. Research says that not only do we release dopamine and oxytocin, good, happy hormones when we pet a dog, but so does the dog. So this is meant to be a wonderful relationship. But what you need to know is that Gambit is going to be like this for another 3 weeks. And then he's going to grow up and he's going to be completely different, which we'll show you in a minute. And so this is by all means nature or God's way of making sure that we live through the next stage, because the bonding that takes place when your puppy is small like this is pretty incredible and long lasting. So the reason that we showed you Gambit and talked about bonding and how wonderful baby puppies are and how they make you produce feel-good hormones like dopamine and prolactin and oxytocin is that Gambit is going to turn into this. Now, he may never be as active as this, but he probably will. So this is one of the challenges, and boy, Randy sure is making this puppy look good. This is Zeus. Zeus is a black and white, also pit bull mix, but he's probably mixed with lab, which is what gives him his energy. And they make wonderful, wonderful pets later in life. So at this age, the bonding that takes place when the puppy is a baby is what gets you through this stage, because this puppy is pushing on Randy and pulling on Randy and using his mouth and chewing and his feet. And he's stronger than he looks, Randy and the puppy. But they are such a challenge to have at this age that they usually, people think about taking them to the shelter. Now, I would say most people do keep their dogs. They have great stories. If you saw the movie Marley and Me, then you know that a lot of people have stories about what the dog did to their seat in their car, about what the dog did to the UPS man. And these are all preventable things if you know about this in advance. And it's our job to let you know that part of getting a puppy is this. It's short-lived, but it doesn't feel like it when you're in it. So Zeus, Randy's making him look very good, which I do appreciate, but Zeus is a handful now, because what happened was someone got him when he was just lovely, like Gambit, brought him home, he turned into this, and the landlord said, oh no, that dog is not staying here. So they were stuck with either finding someplace else to move to or finding a place for the puppy. And if you put a puppy like this and add in the newspaper, and say, you know, we have this beautiful black and white puppy, and even if he's free, as soon as people come and meet him, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle that. So if you're a dog trainer, you would look at a dog like Zeus and say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get that puppy. That's a perfect puppy. Look at his energy level. Look how persistent he is. This is a puppy that can handle somebody's mistakes. If you're not too good with timing and training, if you're not too quick with the reward, he is resilient and robust, and he can handle all of that, and he will learn. However, you definitely need to be prepared for what he has in store for maybe the next 3 or 4 months. And it'll be a great experience because you're going to end up with a great dog. Randy says that Zeus has no idea what we're talking about. So that's why we like to show you, you know, the beautiful snuggly puppy, which everybody wants, and then what you have to do to earn a dog. If you want to earn a dog that you have raised from a baby, that is your dog, that is loyal to you, then you need to be strong. You need to make it through this stage. And Zeus is ready to test you. If you are up for the challenge, then I hope you'll come meet him, because he's actually a very smart and good boy, and we know a lot about him. I think they told us he was mixed with Shar-Pei, but I'm not sure about that. So a great background and a beautiful dog, but you know, he's in that preteen stage where he just needs a lot of guidance and a lot to do. We are back with Wonderful, and Wonderful came to us a few months ago. She obviously got loose from her family and ended up here in the shelter, and no one came to claim her. So we put her up for adoption, and someone that had a German Shepherd and experience with their raising their German Shepherd puppy adopted her. Now, what they told us about their German Shepherd is that they didn't really have to do any training. He was just naturally a nice puppy. He was compliant. He follows them everywhere. They didn't really teach him anything. So when they adopted Wonderful, they thought, she's only 11 months old, and they adopted her a little while ago, they thought she would be the same, that they would be able to just put her in the yard with their German Shepherd and she would just follow them around and be a good dog. So of course, she ended up here in the shelter again. They reclaimed her right away as soon as they found out she was missing. And then she ended up in the shelter again. So they decided not to reclaim her. They don't have experience with dog training. They were just lucky to get a great dog that didn't require very much training. And Wonderful's too smart for that. She wants to have a reason to be with you. She wants to have a reason to do just about anything. She loves to play ball. I had her out in the yard yesterday, and she retrieved the ball for me as many times as I would throw it. I can't even count how many times it was. She doesn't care so much about food. I mean, she'll eat treats. We gave her, I'm not supposed to say this, but we gave her pizza yesterday. And
You're pretty smart, aren't you?
yes, she is a smart girl. So some volunteers took her out in our really high fenced yard, which dogs can't escape from. But what happened was they took her out there to play ball with her, and when they were done, she wasn't done. She didn't want to come in. So she gave them a run for their money around the yard, and one of our kennel techs had to go out and corral her. So it isn't that she took off, it's that she wouldn't let them get hands on her to put the leash back on to bring her back in. So she has already learned that she is faster than humans and maybe smarter than most humans. So training her will be a little bit of a challenge because you'll have to prove to her that you're worthy. She is typical Border Collie, which means she can solve puzzles and has lots of energy. And because she's only 11 months old, then it's going to be a little while before it'll be a little while before she trusts you and knows you and wants to be with you. But she really is looking for somebody who is worthy of her loyalty. And certainly she could be considered for a working life. But some people often think, well, if I had some sheep or some cattle, then she would stay with them. Not until she knows what they're good for. So training will be important for Wonderful. Of course, it's important for all dogs. But smarter dogs, you know, everyone says they want a smart dog until they actually live with one and realize that they can open the refrigerator and they can find your car keys, but they won't necessarily do it when you want them to. So she is definitely going to make somebody who likes collies and working dogs a fabulous pet. But you have to understand that that's what she is, smart. And you have to be smarter, and that's not too hard. We are back with Pepper, who was Piper when he was at the animal shelter. And Randy's going to tell you about his adoption experience.
I brought, his name's Pepper now. I renamed him. So Piper didn't roll off my tongue. I brought him in here to introduce him because when he first came here, he was only 4.5 months old. And when I adopted him, he just got over being pretty sick. The shelter actually probably saved his life because he had something called bacterial meningitis. And I've had him now for about 2 years. I adopted him on Valentine's Day. And one of the things I wanted to let you all know about is if you looking for a dog like this, or you think he's a sweet dog, I want to adopt him, you see him, you hope to see him on Pet Finder or Pet Pals or in the newspaper, you wouldn't have been able to adopt him because I adopted him that fast. He never got on any of the shows. He never got to sit down and have his picture taken. So I lucked out because I was coming in here looking for puppies on a regular basis. I actually had my mind on a husky, and then I fell in love with him. So what I wanted to let everybody know is it's important that if you're interested in adopting a dog, don't wait necessarily just to see one that you like on Pet Finders or Pet Pals. You could actually miss out because other people are seeing those too. So you want to come in here as often as you can. A lot of the animals actually don't make it on this show or on the Pet Finders because people that do come in often grab them up right away. So when you see them, they're not available anymore. He's a good boy. He's been a good companion. He's being really sweet right now. He's got a lot of energy.
So about how long do you think it took for you to make him into this kind of dog that everybody would want?
Well, he was immediately house trained. I never had any issues with that. I just had to learn what he was trying to tell me, and it took once. And after that, I knew when he wanted to go out. So that was immediate. He's a pretty smart boy, so it was easy to get him trained to sit and to give me his paw and to lay down and roll over. He's not aggressive at all, but he doesn't always show the best manners when approaching other dogs. He's a little vocal, and it gets them confused and excited. So, but they're perfectly safe with him. But he's maybe a lot like that other German Shepherd they were talking about. He was pretty easy to train.
Very good.
He's actually half Husky and half German Shepherd. He looks more Shepherd. I don't know if you guys are getting a good earshot of him. You get a straight.
There you go.
He's got a lot of ears.
We're going to be right back after a short break with some adoptable cats, and what I hope you found from this early segment is baby puppies are cute, mid-aged puppies are difficult. You have to train your dog, or when they're teenagers, they don't listen like wonderful, but that can all be fixed. But all of it is with the goal that you too could have a dog like Pepper. We'll be right back. Hope you join us.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Need an idea for your child's birthday party? Look no further. At the Middletown Rec Center, we have all your birthday party needs. We have a full-size gymnasium, a large rec room, sports equipment, and many birthday party theme ideas. Each party includes crafts, games, and a story. Please call 301-600-1646 for more information.
This is Charm, and Charm is a female calico domestic shorthair that came to us kind of as a stray, and I can explain that for you. She was found by a family that had a Rottweiler and another cat, and they thought that they could find her home. She was in Mount Airy, and clearly she was friendly and seemed like someone's pet. So they kept her for a week, and they tried to find out who she belonged to, and they weren't able to. So one of the things that often happens with lost pets is that if people find a pet, they may either assume no one cares about it or it wouldn't be outside. That's not always true, but it could be, and it's good that you would be generous and willing to shelter an animal temporarily in hopes of getting them back to their safe home. So first of all, if you find a stray animal, there might be someone looking for the pet. Now, chances are that that person is near you and the animal hasn't strayed very far. So putting up signs and getting the word out that the pet is at your house and you're looking for her owner is a good start. But after a week, they couldn't find an owner, so they brought her here, which is perfect, because if she has traveled some distance and someone is looking for her, then they're going to call us and come in here and look for her and send us a picture and put up a lost report. So they brought her here. We weren't able to make a match here either. And so she is spayed, has been to the radio show, is now on the TV show, and she is ready for a new home. She has beautiful markings on her face, as I'm sure you can see by looking at her. But most importantly, what a lovely cat. We've estimated she's about a year old. which is pretty typically the age that we get cats that are stray that don't have an owner. And that is because people are often feeding a stray cat who has kittens. When the kittens are 12 weeks old or so, they disperse about the area. So they show up friendly and cute at someone's house with no collar, no ID, and that's how the story goes. They keep them for a week, try to find their family, and then bring them to us. So interestingly, right now we have about 7 cats in the shelter in need of a home. And that is amazing. I don't think that's happened in the 10 years that I've been here. And that means that something is changing. So I would expect that it has to do with U2SA, Animal Welfare League, Pet for Pets, and other groups that help take in stray cats, spay and neuter wild cats, and vaccinate them so that we don't have the influx of cats that no one really owns every year. Now, I'm saying that prior to the beginning of kitten season. Now is the time when cats are delivering their kittens outside, and so in about a month is the time when we will get 1,200 kittens between April and October. And what would be great is if that doesn't happen this year. I can't tell you for sure if that's going to be the case, but we certainly are seeing signs this winter of a reduced number of homeless cats coming into the shelter, in part due to rescue groups, because they took something like 160 cats from us last year. I can check cats and kittens, half cats. So that really helps us out. But there are also now more groups funding the spaying and neutering of cats. The Snyder Foundation has provided us with 2 grants, and U2SA on an ongoing basis is doing that for people. So it would be great to say that maybe it's really making a difference. What I would say to you about that is that means that if you want to get a shelter cat who is vaccinated and microchipped and spayed, then maybe you should hurry, because I can't tell you that they're always going to be available. But right now, Charm is available, and if you think that she would make a good match for you or someone that you know, then please come to the shelter and meet her, pass her picture around on Facebook, go to petfinder.com to get one, and certainly encourage people to stop by the shelter anytime, because while there is no pressure when you're here to adopt a pet, sometimes magic happens and you see a pet you never even knew you wanted. We are back with Gambit, and Gambit is a beautiful domestic short-hair cat. You can see by the lighting he has some tabby markings in his fur. He's not really solid black. And we are here in the Kitty Cabana at Frederick County Animal Control. It is a place where cats that have been with us for a little bit of time can be out and about. Once a cat is introduced to the Kitty Cabana, they get to stay in here until they are adopted. Currently, we have 3 cats in here. Gambit, who is a year old, despite his large size. He's still a youngster. And you'll be meeting 2 more in just a moment. And what this offers us, because Gambit's already been on the TV show, but he wasn't chosen by anyone yet for adoption. So this offers us a way to show cats that people can come in and sit in a chair and interact with them and see if a cat might be the right pet for them. But it also gives the cats a chance to get out of the cage if they've been here for a while. We don't want them to put on weight. We don't want them to be too bored. So interestingly, none of our cats were going up on top of the doors until Squiggy, who you'll meet shortly, decided to do it. And now all the cats are doing it. It's pretty safe up there. They can be next to the light when people come in and out. They don't have to be down on the floor when a new person comes in, which can make cats nervous. This is Tiger. Tiger's been with us since November, and she's a beautiful cat. She's been on the TV show before. We've taken her to the radio station. She's been to events. She also has a rabies shot. She is a great cat. The only reason I can think of that she has not been chosen is that she's overweight, and I'm not sure why that would dissuade anyone from adopting a cat. She's quite lovely. She's color-coded blue, which means lap cat, And one of the reasons that we chose her for this kitty cabana is she can get more exercise, and that will help us help her to lose some weight. She came to us as a typical story that you've heard from me many, many times. She was stray. Someone took care of her for 2 years, and then they had to move, and she never quite became really their cat. So when it was time for them to move, they didn't have a plan for what would happen to her. In fact, that's how they got her in the first place. Somebody moved on and left her behind. It's an unfortunate situation for neighborhood cats that they do like to stay in their territory, and sometimes people are willing to feed them temporarily while they live there, but since people move, cats often get left behind. So Tiger is also available for adoption. She is a spayed, tortoiseshell, and tabby mixed female, which we call Torby. And as I said, she's been on the radio show, been in the car with me, gone to events. She's just a lovely cat, has everything to offer. And we know that the people who had her for 2 years had absolutely no difficulties with her. It's just that, you know, before they realized 2 years had passed and they had never found her another home or thought of what would happen if they weren't going to stay there. So they brought her to us. And Squiggy is a male black and white cat. He is 2 years old. So we have every age. We have Gambit is 1 and Squiggy is 2 and Tiger, you just met, is 3 or 4. So whatever age you're looking for, we certainly have them. Squiggy came to us also with a similar story. And it is pretty common for our cats to come to us this way. People keep them temporarily. So somebody had Squiggy, took him in, and they have a 2-year-old in their house, 2-year-old human. And that was just not working out for them. It can be very hard to teach a 2-year-old that the cat is hot, just like the stove, because at least with the stove, it's stationary and in one room. And you can control whether the 2-year-old goes into the kitchen and whether the stove is on. When you have a cat, it's much harder because the cat's mobile and small and children are naturally attracted to them. So the people who had Squiggy said they just didn't feel like it was a safe situation for the child or the cat to have a 2-year-old with a young cat and not know, you know, how would that play out. Cats will certainly scratch someone who grabs and pinches them. But Squiggy was not reported for biting, so that's a good thing. That means he's pretty tolerant and nice. But still, not every cat gets to keep the first home that he or she finds. So Squiggy, Gambit, and Tiger have complete access to each other. So if you happen to already have a cat and you were thinking of getting a second, then Squiggy, Gambit, and Tiger have at least the experience of meeting stranger cats and getting along with them. So you might want to consider one of them if you already have a cat, because we know that these cats can handle social interaction. Not every cat wants to live with other cats. Thanks for joining us on Pet Pals. Just remember to send pictures from petfinder.com to people that you know if pets match what they might be looking for, or share the link at the bottom of your screen. We will see you next time.